basically dominating the news cycle right now is Israel-Palestine and this plane that was shot out of the sky. And this happened on Thursday, so let's give you a quick rundown. On Thursday, July 17th, Malaysian Airlines flight MH17, flying from Amsterdam, Netherlands to Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, lost contact and crashed in the Donetsk region in eastern Ukraine. Donetsk has been a hotspot for this conflict going on between Ukraine and these pro-Russian separatists, these Ukrainian rebels, who have been receiving support from Russia themselves, in not just vocal support, but in arms as well. The Boeing 777 plane did not send out a distress call before the crash, and investigations are still underway, actually, to determine exactly what happened. Ukraine and U.S. officials are all but confirming that from their intelligence, this plane was likely shot down by a missile. There were 283 passengers and 15 crew members on board. There are no signs of any survivors. 80 of these passengers were children. Let's get to the breakdown of what the passengers. The large majority are from the Netherlands, 192, and this includes the sole American on the flight, who is actually a dual Netherlands-USA citizen. I don't know where the original number of 23 Americans on the flight came from. That was the number being passed around on Thursday. That's false. And there was no one with a U.S. passport on the flight, and that's because this person was born in the United States, so he has the dual citizenship, but he spent the majority of his life living in the Netherlands. 44 people from Malaysia, 27 Australians, 12 Indonesians, 10 people from the UK, 4 from Germany, 4 from Belgium, 3 from the Philippines, 1 from Canada, and 1 from New Zealand, for a total of 298 people who died on this flight. Just horrible.
Also, the other important thing, I don't know if you're going to get to it, but I mean, just to add to how utterly depressing this is, a lot of these people were leading AIDS researchers.
Yes, let's get to that right. Good point. Let's get to that right off the bat right here, because this is extremely disturbing. I mean, obviously, the loss of any life is sad, but we have these reports that a large number of the people on this flight, not sure of the exact number yet. Again, these are still ongoing investigations. We'll get to why in a minute. A large number of the delegates to the 20th International AIDS Conference were on board. The conference is in Melbourne and included medical researchers, health workers, and activists. One such person on the flight, passenger on the flight, Joep Lange, was a former president of the International AIDS Society, and he headed the Department of Global Health at the University of Amsterdam. He had been involved in HIV research and treatment since 1983. He worked in particular pivotal trials in antiretroviral therapy and on the prevention of mother-to-child transmission of HIV. In fact, a prominent HIV/AIDS consultant told ABC in an interview that there's a possibility that the cure for AIDS could have been on that plane.
We literally shot the possible cure of millions of lives was blown out of the sky.
Yes. And we'll never know.
By morons.
We will never know. We will just never know. And if you've been paying attention to this, you might have seen the images that have been coming out of it. Just horrific images. And apparently, the rebels they have a stronghold on this area.
Yes.
So they have control of the scene of this crash. They have apparently taken the black boxes of the plane, and there was original reports that they had sent the black boxes to Moscow. That's unconfirmed, but what is confirmed is the rebels have the black boxes. There's also video out there, terrible video of reporters, one from Sky News from the UK, rummaging through these the luggage that's in this debris, and rebels and just their so-called experts exhuming the bodies and taking them to who knows where for storage. Just, I wonder if we will ever know exactly how, first of all, what happened, two, how certain people died on this plane. We will never know, because the scene of this crime has been so contaminated by people not knowing what they're doing and just removing things. It's just sad.
Well, and probably trying to cover stuff up.
And trying to cover stuff up, yes, of course. And on top of that, it didn't happen until today that people from the Netherlands, that officials from the Netherlands and Malaysia, who make up the majority of the nationalities on this plane, were able to send their experts to this scene via permission from these rebels. You can't send these people there not knowing if they're even going to be welcome. They could be shot, and we could have even more deaths on our hands. An advisor to the Ukraine's interior minister had said in a statement that the plane was shot down from their intelligence by a missile from a Buk launcher. A pro-Russian rebels recently bragged about acquiring this missile system. And right before this happened, the previous evening, the Ukrainian government reported that a Russian military plane shot down a Ukrainian fighter jet in Ukrainian airspace. So they have this ability.
The missile, to be really clear, like, this was not like a surface to air. This was an incredibly sophisticated piece of weaponry to take that. I mean, you're talking about guidance systems. You're talking about,
they were provided
this.
This
is a military grade. This is not even like, as I say, it's not even like a surface to air rocket. This is a fully operationalized military grade missile that clearly came from Russia.
You're not even going to see this type of artillery in the hands of even the most sophisticated of your usual terrorist organizations. Al-Qaeda and ISIS don't have this kind of equipment.
And I think what's likely is that they probably did have stupid information. They thought it was a military plane. They just knocked the thing out of the sky. I don't think they were trying.
They weren't trying to shoot. There's audio out there.
Yeah.
That was that Ukrainian government is claiming they intercepted a conversation between Igor Bezler, a Russian military intelligence officer, and Vasily Gerinin, a leading commander of the pro-Russian separatists group, the Donetsk People's Republic. And according to this intercepted conversation, Bezler told the leading commander of this separatist group that they shot down a civilian plane. It seemed like, actually, and in this, if you listen to this, that some of the rebels actually, after finding out what they did, actually realized there's going to be possible repercussions for this, and they would actually felt some sort of remorse for shooting a civilian plane. And these leaders of this pro-Russian, this Russian intelligence group, the Russian intelligence officer, was basically saying, "Oh well, it happened."
Yep.
Sometimes you shoot plane military. All the times you shoot plane is AIDS research. This is nothing you can do. Don't worry, we'll go on RT, write good report.
The rebel group obviously are claiming they didn't do it, and I'll get to that in a second. They're also claiming at the same time that it's the Malaysian Airlines' fault for flying over a region that they knew had a conflict waging in it.
They lose plane in Bermuda Triangle plane, like a lost plane before. Now they fly over a war zone. This is their fault.
The Ukrainian president, Petro Poroshenko, called for an immediate investigation of the incident. I have to say, the Ukrainian government was on top of this right away.
Well, it's a great propaganda coup for them.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's a stark difference between how the Russian government handled this right away and the Ukrainians did.
What are you going to do?
Yeah. I mean,
you'll give a bunch of drunk rebels big weapons. Sometime you make a mistake. They are the ones who are crying.
And of course, Putin finally came out and said that he offered his condolences after apparently the officials in Australia and Malaysia were reporting they could not get a hold of anyone in Russia, any official in Russia who they are supposed to deal with when this happened. And they were not pleased, and rightfully so. And Putin says that Ukraine bears the full responsibility for this terrible tragedy. No surprise there. And again, the most recent news from the United States is that they're pretty much all but sure that the MH17 was downed by a SA-11 Buk missile fired from the separatist-held territory. Ukrainian government says they have no foothold there. They have nothing there that could possibly shoot down a plane. And they, too, say their intelligence points to the separatists.
I bet it was the National Endowment for Democracy, man. They did it.